month of April, time worked in the front office was employed, the one employee worked 3 days a week and the other worked 2 days a week. Which in turn means that in the front office employees was paid for 160 hours for 4 weeks of work and only worked a total of 80 hours. I'm asking that the full-time police officer get 80 hours comp time, and this time has to be used first before vacation or sick time, and has to be used within 1 year from today's date. I just wanted to be fair. And I'm not worried about my comp time. I don't even want it. I just want them to have it. I signed on for police, chief police, I don't know what I was getting into, but they need to be treated right. That's all I got.
Discussion.
Any city employees that were sent home, did they do any work from home?
And the others were on call. It was an executive order from the governor's office. I mean, they didn't have any else.
On call is not working. If it was, I'd be paid 24/7, because I'm on call 20%.
Yeah, the statutes.
Before we can do anything, we'll have to have a motion.
I attempted the motion last month. I don't know what else everybody else feels, I don't know.
But do we already, but does the police already get a bonus that other city employees don't get?
Not through the city.
Not through the city?
That comes from the state because they're certified, home certified.
Okay.
What, $800?
Yes.
You have a certified police officer, I reckon, state Tennessee, that's got what, a year, they've got a year in before that they receive.
They got a full, they start like half a year prior, they still got to have that half, goes another year.
I need a motion on his request, what'd you say, 80 hours?
Yes, sir.
of comp time?
Yes, sir.
I need a motion.
I make a motion.
Need a second.
Second.
Motion made by Jessica Biggs, second by John Potts. We'll have a roll call.
Vice Mayor Fox.
Yes.
Councilwoman Biggs.
Yes.
Councilwoman Van Treese.
Yes.
Councilman Carter.
Yes.
Councilman Crawford.
Motion carries. You got anything else?
No, sir.
All right. Fire report. Got anything, fire chief?
No.
Financial statements?
I had a question for the fire chief, man.
Okay, we'll back up then.
Any more information about, some beds on the compressor or?
That's I'm finalizing the bid notice, get through the paper, making sure I have all the legal verbiage in there before I put it out there. I've already went over it with the chief a couple of times, I just gotta make sure we get the legal part at the bottom right about all that stuff before I send it to the paper. But I think we've got a pretty good direction, I'll shoot him out the paper next week.
Was there any, I think Chief, if you elaborated on this before, was there any grant money available toward the purchase of that piece of equipment or anything?
AFG, no, there's no replacement, obviously,
Gotcha.
it's been hard to.
Thank you.
Anything else? Line item 8, financial statements.
While y'all are reviewing those, we did get our check from the state for the first money that the government gave out of the $57,000 for sewer repairs. We did get those. The Blue Cross Blue Shield grant, Healthy Places grant for the park. I sent all y'all that in an email last time. I think we'll apply for the family fund part. It's a little less than some of the rest of it. Some of the rest of it, that's a little more than we could use. They're accepting applications, the Hallmark office, so I'll get this prepared and sent in. If y'all know if anybody wants to submit letters of support, that would be great, because I think they made a big difference last time. So if anybody knows anybody, feel free to ask them to send them in, and I'll get it all put together and send them. So.
Anything for the city recorder in there?
No, and I'll get it there.
All right, new business line item 10, Mr. Jones of 20-foot, asked Thompson to speak to the council about his sewer, having a sewer bill with no connection.
My name is Joseph Honeycutt of 28 Main Street here at Gordonsville. I have a recent bill from the city for $172.80 for sewer that I do not have. I'm trying to find out why that is. Being told there's an ordinance in place, I've asked 4 different occasions for a copy of this ordinance once in a court of law and did not get it. If there is an ordinance in place, I'd like a copy of that. But why am I being held responsible for a sewer line that I do not have? I have a line, but I'm not tapping into it.
Was that one bill, or was that a carryover bill?
This is since February, since the last time I went to court, the judge threw out the previous bill. This is a new bill since February. It's been recurring.
So it's $27 a month.
Yes, sir, plus late fees, I believe.
And have you paid any of those?
No, sir.
That's the reason it's that much.
Okay, so why am I being held for a sewer line that I do not have any access to? Okay.
All right. Their sewer ordinance speaks to a point of delivery.
Okay.
And because you have water service, you also, and if sewer is available, their ordinance requires that you maintain sewer, at least at minimum.
Okay.
I will give you a copy of the ordinance if you will leave me the address.
I've got one right here. You can have it.
And we can give it to you tonight, but the reason is, there's an ordinance in place. The city's somewhat unusual in that most places, they're a utility provider for the water and the sewer. Now, in this particular instance, the town of Gordonsville only provides sewer, it doesn't provide water service. But its ordinance speaks to the point of delivery, and if water service is rendered to any user or premises through more than one point of delivery. So it's the premises, it's not the actual tapping up. So if it's available, the town ordinance requires that a minimum bill be sent and paid.
Okay.
Even if you terminate your water service, your property, or the property owner would still be responsible for a minimum bill.
Okay.
Mayor, we'll give you a copy of the ordinance, and if you have any questions after looking at that, come talk to me.
I do, the application for the sewer line to Gordonsville, second page, line 67, gives you the option to terminate the service. If it is mandatory, why are you giving the option to terminate?
You don't have to have the service,
Okay.
just if it's available, and if you have water service, that is a point of delivery, and that you're still responsible for a minimum bill. You're not required to have the service. They can't compel you to hook on to the line, but they can, because it's available through the ordinance, require that you pay a minimum bill. You're not charged for usage, but you are charged for the minimum bill.
Okay, the ordinance set in place by the council, is that right?
Yes, sir.
So
The last revision was 05, I think.
So can a revision be an option for this year?
It's gonna be difficult, if they were asking me, and they're not, but if it's gonna be difficult, because one is, in order to obtain grants and other, rural development loans, these ordinances are traditionally in place, because it takes a period of time for the sewer to become self-sufficient, and for people to, it's not something that happens right away. It takes time for them to come. So to apply for these grants and receive these grants, and to basically keep the system as a fully functioning, funded system, they have to charge the minimum bill to availability as the point of delivery.
Oh, and what's gonna happen if one does not pay the bill, lien against the property?
Yes, sir. It could become that.
All right, now, the sewage utility, correct?
Yes, sir.
Along with water, electric, gas,
That's correct.
all of which I have.
Yes, sir.
But if I don't use any of those, they don't charge it, not a dime. So as the council, if I'm not looking at it, surely I'm not the only person that sees this is wrong. Y'all are charging people for a service they don't have, they didn't want, and you did not disclose these charges when you asked for easement right. The charges were not disclosed until 4 months after the project was completed. Then the letter was sent out that said, by the way, if you want to use it, it's $1,000, and you're going to find a plumber to kind of do it yourself. And it's $27 a month regardless. None of that was disclosed up front. Surely something can be done about this. Take the $27, if you're gonna force me to pay it or take my land from me, take the $27, put it in a hole, put it toward my tap fee, something. Eventually, I'm gonna need that sewer line, I know that. And I may get it sooner or later, I'm pretty sure it was destroyed partially when the line came through. But there's no reason I should have to pay for this. I do not have it. I didn't ask for it. My hand was forced. If I didn't give you the rights to the easement, you would have took it anyway. So why am I being backed into a corner here? Why is it taking 2.5 years to get a copy of that piece of paper that I've asked for? Twice in person, once face to face with the mayor, and once in a court of law. Still never got a copy of it. It takes me taking off work, coming down here, scheduling to get on the agenda and speaking to y'all to get that. So surely something can be done. I can't be the only citizen that feels this way. Surely, God. But that's all I want. Thank you.
This ordinance was done the first time in 94, it was redone there in 2005, when
I
you
think
had.
that was the last revision.
I guess it was on, changed rates.
What does that do to his current bill with late charges? Is that clarification that he needs to start paying today, or does he need to come back?
Doesn't need to come back, it's you and all today.
If I may, the last court hearing I was in, the judge ruling was since no evidence had been made of said ordinance, the charges didn't apply.
He was relieved up till February, then they started accumulating. So he has had some relief through that. The ordinance is what it is. Council asked me to look at it, I'll sure look at it. But as of today, it says what it says.
Thank you.
There's that old ordinance, enforcement rule of order, is in that one right there. And on the back, it's back.
This is second time forward, about 05, so.
Yeah, we want to 2002. But it was done whenever the sewer was put in, I don't know that. I'm sure it's probably 94, 95.
All right, thank you.
Any old business? New business, right? Well, old business. Releasing them to go.
I did the title work to see if that was a city or town road. Both the deed, there's two deeds covering that property. One of them references a farm road that leads to Sherwood Lane, and the other one speaks of the right of way to the Preston property. That's another Preston property behind it. So that is going to be a right of way. It is not a city town road.
I mean, interstate came through in 59, took that piece of property, it used to be attached to the 30 acres on where it's a school. And when it did, it was landlocked. So they had to purchase some land off of Boston, who were in Boston, and owned that then, and it was 40 foot. So the market was still down there on the rock fence. By the way, it goes to that 30 acres back there, along Miss Alice Preston then, and now it belongs to Mary Preston.
And I spoke with them before the meeting, showed them what I had.
more old business? And I haven't got to the tractor yet. This month, I just haven't got to it, and that means go call Coleman and, maybe John Deere. But we did get the right of way closed last month, and I haven't scheduled to be home, so they are going
I'd like to make a motion to proceed with the tractor purchase.
to, it took 32 hours. Cost $100 now, $3,200 more. I just don't think that's a good business proposition. I just think we need to go another, some way of cheaper than that. That's too much money for a piece of equipment to sit in the barn down there in the shed down there the rest of the year.
Motion on
This morning I was passing to work through South Carthage. I see a nice New Holland tractor, sidearm, bush hog. As I passed by them, they're cutting over on the side of the road, and I see another little tractor coming up the road. It was a little New Holland tractor with the bush hog on it. And he was gonna go back and make a swap where I guess they missed at. I mean, I don't know what they will do. I know we got a motion on the table. This is my personal opinion. I think it's something that we should proceed to look at. And but I'll do whatever everybody else does on it. I just think it'd be something that we could use here for some other things, you know, myself too. And not just now. And when I say this, I'm making decisions not just for now, but for down the road, with the future of the town and growth and development that we are seeing here. I don't know if anybody else wants to add anything to that.
I'm pretty sure they got theirs on grant. I'm not 100%, I'm pretty sure they got theirs on grant.
Well, hadn't, at the time, didn't we make a budget amendment to proceed with that purchase of that out of the street aid fund, correct?
The money is in there.
Sir?
The money is in there.
We will proceed. Let's see if we-
Got a motion, got an ask for a second.
All right, got a motion, need a second.
A second.
Motion's been made, and seconded, that we proceed with that. Your roll call?
Councilman Fox.
Yes.
Councilman Biggs.
Yes.
Councilman Van Treese.
Yes.
Councilman Hart.
Yes.
Councilman Crawford.
Yes. Any other old business? Line item 12 is audit committee review.
You guys should have a copy of this. You got any questions?
Any comment? Move to line item 13, need a motion to adjourn.
Yes,
All right.
Back to the comp time,
Yes,
80 hours is what you requested and they voted on.
yes,
That's for full-time police officers.
full-time police.
Does that include the one in the academy?
When would it start, chief?
He started, I don't know, when was it?
I think it was in March. First of April, somewhere in there. I don't remember off the top of my head.
He was working during that time, it's not a little bit, yes. My personal opinion, yes.
Do we have enough in overtime to pay people for the time when they take off?
Well, I can't pay that on overtime, I have to be out of regular employee wages, I'll have to figure out how to.
But if we people taking that time off and then show up, we'll have to pay overtime.
Yeah, that's it. So is everyone good with paying what it's in the academy?
This may be a little late to ask this question, but would we have to do a budget amendment to do that, or
And well, if we don't have enough
that's,
in overtime, if this brings on more overtime, we'll have to have a budget.
Yes. If using the comp time, I believe the chief asked for it to be used within a year and be used before any, other paid time off that was approved. That causes additional overtime, then yeah, you would have to. I guess the simple answer is if you run out of money in the line item, you gotta get more, so.
I know from the July, end of July, budget, from when we got this year's budget, that I was under $72,000 in budget, so, the money should be there.
This may not be in that line item on that, so figure something out. It'll be somewhere probably between my rough figures, $9,000 and $10,000. So that's if we include the one in the academy.
But he's not a certified officer, and was it,
He was a full-time employee.
did you work full-time from home?
I work from home when I wasn't here.
Well, we still need to consider that too.
And I can't speak for anybody else. I have no idea what anyone else.
well, going back to what she said, that was a point that I had made previously myself. Of course, I had come in and said that some of the individuals that were working, I didn't know all the details of who was working and who was not working at that time. You know, we didn't, but I know that she said it's in accordance with the governor's guidelines that he handed down.
We started here one work, it was like in 3 weeks. So one would work 2 days, the other would work 3 days, while it went out and was in the office. Do what?
It was all late. In the 2 weeks in either May or 2 weeks in before.
So, the sewer people did the same thing, they rotated out. And our garbage people, they worked Monday and Tuesday, and they did, you were already mowing Monday, John,
Yes, sir.
and they did all the mowing and nothing was cut short. And everybody was on call, I told them all, I said, if something happens, if you have a tree to roll down, or something breaks, or if something happens to sewer plant, they had to come out and we were lucky that we didn't have any right now.
Well, I had made a comment before that it's not fair to do something for one employee and not do it for another employee when we're representing all of them, so to speak. But that's just my opinion.
And that's all I'm asking for. Is to do one for one, do it for all of them.
Yes, sir.
Is this, okay, just for a matter of, if we're gonna do this for everybody, is this something we need to reconsider, like revisit then and get an estimate of how much this is gonna cost? Would that not be?
When you say everybody in the police department?
Well, I don't know, one department to the next, I mean, whoever worked full-time, even if it was from home or whatever, if they didn't miss a beat and still kept working, I mean, we gotta do it for one, we gotta do it for all of them, but we also need to budget it out to see if we can even afford it then. Because I don't want this to come back next month and somebody from another department say, hey, you did this for the police department, why didn't you do this for me? And then, I mean, there's no money there then.
I just got a question for the council.
Mhm.
Last month, it was recommended for 40 hours, y'all voted no. He's asked for 80, and y'all voted yes. What's up with that?
I'm asking 80.
I'm talking about what he asked for last month, it was 40.
That's what he asked for.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they all said no for 40, but now you asked for 80, and they've all said yes.
Well, there's a lot of things that wasn't explained, that I just explained when I talked.
It wasn't 40 more hours worth of
Well, you miss
content.
all of April and don't work with 80 hours of it, and April's 160 hours in the work week,
You got paid for every hour you worked.
everybody got paid for staying home too. And we still had to work.
I mean, I don't know how many hours they work. I'm not saying anything about the police department, I'm not saying nothing about them. I don't know how many hours they work. Do you know how many hours they work?
I don't know how many hours that they was in this office up here.
I mean, we don't know that. How many hours they actually work. We asked the mayor his opinion on it, and you heard, I'm sure you heard the meeting last month. You wasn't here, but you probably heard the
They
meeting.
were told to, so late on to put it in a layman's term. I mean, they didn't really get out and write tickets and do like that. They pretty well were basically just on.
Yeah, I remember you making
Is
a
that all right?
comment that you said,
I don't
you're not
want-
supposed to get out here, you're not supposed to get out here and do
But
that.
we still answer calls, we still have to go to that hotel, we still have to go to pilot and answer people,
I understand.
and do everything we're supposed to do.
That's your job.
Exactly right. And everybody else's job is to come in and do what they're supposed to, but they didn't do half of it.
I'm just asking the council why would they voted no on 40 and turned around and voted yes for 80.
Well, that motion is behind us. I mean,
That's all I'm asking.
But is it something, I mean, I don't know how this works, is it something that can be rescinded and revisited?
If it's in the same meeting, which you're still in,
Uh-huh.
yes, you can make a motion to reconsider.
Okay, I make a motion to reconsider.
But it has to go, you have to have a second to that motion, and it has to be.
In order to crunch the numbers and to make sure that we cover every employee fairly, if we're gonna do this for one, we need to do it for all.
I don't disagree with that.
But it's got to be something that we got the money for, that we can afford to do. So,
you're making a motion to rescind that
make a
motion.
motion to rescind.
Need a second?
You said.
I see.
Get a roll call. Motion to rescind that one.
Ms. Biggs, I'm sorry, are you asking to rescind and it be placed on the agenda or table to the next meeting?
Table to the next meeting. Sorry.
All right, we have a roll call.
I have a quick question on that. Michael, the last time, what did you say you usually recommended on the comp time wise? Do you recall that?
There's only a couple of people that are eligible for comp time, and the way the policy reads, all comp time accrued has to be paid out by by the end of the year, December 31st. Whatever's accrued, I think you can get up to 80 hours, I think is the max or something.
That's it.
So whatever's accrued has to be paid out, just like vacation time if you leave or whatever, by the end of the year. But this will be no more if it's passed out of a year from, I guess, today.
Because they didn't, your employment policies, I hate to say it like that, but you can suspend them, but because they didn't approve it until one lump sum, I don't have a problem giving an opinion that you can extend that year, if that is in fact the motion, because you're actually granting the comp time probably outside the policy, because nobody really has policies to cover COVID. But, so you're granting it outside of your policy, so I see no harm in giving a year, so you're not due some sort of large payout December 30. If that ends up being the motion.
You know, like I mentioned last month, it's about the coronavirus. The coronavirus ain't over. Is it? Is it over?
I mean, we may have to shut down again. I mean, at some point, we don't know.
mean, you're just asking for something to do with the coronavirus, but, I mean, it's still in effect.
I'm asking for something to do with the time that was given off for employees. It wasn't given to all employees.
Right.
No matter what the cause is, that's just what happened.
No matter what the cost is.
I mean,
I just want to be fair, you know, decide whatever, I'm good with it. I want it to be fair for all employees.
well, it should be. Everybody should be treated the same.
I agree.
Is this something like we could do what is it called, executive?
Work session.
Work session about?
You do a work
You know,
session
I
with
hate
people.
to do that to people, but I'd really like, I mean, it's a big decision.
I guess-
And have some time to discuss and hash it out.
I guess we need to see exactly how many areas you work and how many areas you work.
That's what I said.
It will have to, I mean,
So
this will have to be investigated.
we know how much
Accounted for.
everybody actually works before we jump.
It-
You know, saying you can work 3 days, you can work 2 days. Because even policemen had some times off during that time. They was either on vacation, or they was on medical leave, or they was,
Oh, well.
some of that time, the full-time
Possibly,
employees should have been working.
Possible.
I mean, that's, you know,
They were on medical leave, they wouldn't need any comp time.
No.
I'm just saying, if they was out for sick leave, or.
I think that's what we need to do, is just discuss it, you know, like.
And I don't disagree with that.
It's not nothing against police department, I'm not trying to be
No,
against the
no.
police department, I'm just,
I don't disagree. I want it to be fair for everybody.
Yes, sir.
That's all I ask for.
If the motion on the table with a second is voted on, and it's tabled to the next meeting, then to answer your question, yes, you can set a work session for anything that you want to set one for. You could even set that for 30 minutes before the next meeting, if you wanted to get the information from that before the vote. But, yes, if the motion succeeds, you can set a work session on the table.
Or we can have it on another Monday night.
And I know that,
Yes.
I know that all the answers can be made over the COVID-19 stuff, but we all know what's going to happen.
right.
But I don't know what's happened up to now. So,
Right. And then something else too, y'all talking about only full-time employees. You had part-timers that work during this time, right?
I don't know.
You mean none of the part-timers worked on the weekends or not, no time during?
I've only got
That
one
time.
that actually works right now, so I don't know if she did or not.
Everybody got paid, everybody, and from that executive order from the governor, we did the best at what we thought it said.
I don't disagree with that. I think you made a wise decision. I just want to be fair across the board.
We don't, we need to vote on that motion to rescind.
First and second. Vice Mayor Watts.
Yes.
Councilwoman Biggs.
Yes.
Councilwoman Patrice.
Yes.
Councilman Hart.
Yes.
Councilman Crawford.
Yes.
Now, you want to set a workshop meeting to, on what,
Before the meeting.
Before, I mean, I don't care if it's before the meeting or another day, if we do it before the meeting, then we know everybody's schedule's clear, so.
Just want to give yourself enough time, because
Right.
you've got to start at 6:15,
Yeah, so,
pretty much.
Mr. David, like, y'all, you have some numbers for us, for as that, who had worked during that time?
we don't really know what the maintenance people did, because they stayed over a couple of days there in the road after they picked up the car. So I don't know, I didn't, we didn't log it, did you log it?
No, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, right.
We wrote down words. Everybody come in early and stay late, and that's what I was gonna bring up. It would be kind of difficult, some weeks I work 3, some weeks I work 4, you know, so, I mean, I'll give you as much as accurate information as I can. My wife and kids are all grown and never work, I mean, there was nothing else for me to do but come in and do something, fiddle around, but, you know, I ain't gonna say that I work any more than somebody that, you know, did, so that would be a little bit difficult in our department, and I don't know about the other departments.
Are you hourly, John, or salary? Hourly.
But all bases were covered, I promise you. We did not, there was nothing that we
too early or too much time, or what, how much time, I mean,
Doesn't have too much.
I'd rather come in at 5:15 than 30 minutes before, if that's okay. Okay, is that all?
However you do it, I would just encourage you to make sure you have enough time. If you don't want to bleed over into your council meeting.
September 14th at 5:15.
Set the schedule for you.
Whatever, anyway.
We'll have to advertise it.
Yes.
14th.
Anything else? Prior to adjournment, I don't feel like I really got any answers out of that. We're gonna try to look at this again, look at the ordinance, see if there's a possibility of a revision.
One thing, how
We-
many
we
people, how
can't-
many people's on, has?
We can't change
same
that, we
accent?
can't change that ordinance because
It's
that's your revenue, that's
How many people?
written up, I mean, it's been like that for years.
And some of those are state guidelines on that, I'm not positive myself, but I was thinking there was some state guidelines that mandated that.
It's RDUP guidelines, Michael.
Sir?
RDUP guidelines.
You know, gentlemen.
That's where it comes from.
In the same boat as him, the accent.
You guys need to talk to us.
Yeah, it's just where the city does carry the water and the sewer. You don't have a choice, it's which service you carry, right? Okay.
But you're,
Just because it's separate here,
the council hasn't asked me to look at it officially, and I'll do it, but what this gentleman's saying is correct. To get the money that you get to install your sewer, your ordinance has to read this way. And frankly, that's where a large amount of your funding comes from, because you wouldn't be self-sustained otherwise, because it takes time for people to, I mean, just as this gentleman had very nicely said, he'll probably end up on it at some point. Well, it takes time for that, and the only way to fund that is if it's available, you have to do it as an allotment to the premises, and that's what it is. I'll be happy to look at it if you want me to, but I think the answer's gonna be, I couldn't advise that you revise the ordinance, because one, you risk having to pay some money back that you've gotten for free, and there could be some other consequences, not to mention, it's going to severely financially impact your sewer fund to modify that ordinance, because that is a large portion of the revenue, at least at this point. As you grow your sewer, it won't be as much of an issue. I certainly appreciate what he's saying, and I certainly appreciate the frustration as to what he's saying, but that's just simply where we stand. If it's available, the RUDP guidelines do require that even if you don't hook on to the service, that you're still billed for it as a premises, because it's for, if you've got water service, you're going to get a minimum sewer fee. Billed with the amount of water, you could use a ton of water to fill swimming pools and everything else, it's not going to change the sewer bill. But, that's what's required. Confident.
There's a lot of altercation that can put into place where until you're tapped on, like I said earlier, the $27 can go in a hole toward $1,000 tap fee. I don't know about y'all, I don't have an extra grand.
I don't know if we could financially withstand that, honestly, Joe. I don't like it either.
The way that it's designed, like, as a town, you can't take money from one of the funds to put into the sewer,
Right.
because it has to be self-sustained, supported by the sewer system.
All enterprise funds.
It, I mean, I definitely understand your point that you're making with that, I really do.
This is government regulated money, and that is their regulations. I mean, that is the situation with it, and we have to follow those.
Okay.
I mean, that's,
in any other town, like we were discussing, like if you lived in Gallatin, it would all be on one bill.
Sure.
You would still be billed $27 even
Right.
though you're not tapped into it. It's just here, we're two separate things because our sewer didn't come at the same time in Gallatin.
You don't provide water service.
Well, yeah.
Right, water service.
So, but if you live in any other place, you'd be
and
paying.
see, their tap fees were $1,000 when it started in 92, 94. Their tap fees still $1,000. I think Carter's what, 2,500, that is probably 3,000.
And you can pay $100 a month.
This is
Toward
what
the
I
tap
said,
fee.
if you wanted to, towards your tax.
Still haven't paid all of it.
Understand that.
Okay.
That shows.
So the 17280, I'm still responsible.
Yes, sir.
And that's because the utility bills are on there?
Because you own the premises?
No, it's
Yes.
not.
You don't own the premises? Okay, well, it would be the utility, bill, yes. Whoever, the premises, whoever has the point of delivery with the other utility, the water, that's who's name the sewer bill.
Okay, so what do I do with the bill now, since, you know, it's not in my name? The city
Well, isn't-
assumed I own the property. They never asked. I never give that information.
Do you get the water bill that you made?
No.
Who signed the variance?
The house is my wife's, but
Who
the
signed
city
the
never,
variance?
my wife. But for the first year and a half, the city thought my name was Jonathan Honeycutt, and Jonathan Honeycutt all these bills. I come back and got it corrected, and when the court got thrown out, and I said, I still owe it, but I'm not property.
Well, whoever is responsible for the premises owes the sewer.
Okay. I would say probably from here on out, now that she's gonna be made aware about it. So what happens is this 17280?
Still owe it.
Who,
Whoever owns the property,
they weren't made aware they owe anything.
well, it is still an assessment for the property, the premises.
Y'all think that's very much it, and right, I mean, the council voted on it. So, y'all tell me nothing I do about it, nothing I do about it, ain't right?
I probably want to say, it.
Right,
and I'm not looking at it.
right. Right. And I'm good.
Any consolation, it might need to be something you need to email or write for state representative and federal representatives about.
Okay.
Because they're the ones that hand this down.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn,
I'll make that.
second,